This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Stu, she's Emily, and can you believe what Trump did yesterday?
No, I can't. In fact, it's so unbelievable. I don't even know what it is.
He was out in the Atlantic Ocean setting dolphins on fire, and then he had Secret Service drive him around as he robbed donut shops. You didn't hear about this?
Went straight past me.
Amazing. Actually, here's the deal. We're recording this right after we recorded the last show. We're pre-recording one because she's going on vacation. And I was just trying to imagine what Trump might be doing, what fucked up thing might be happening next week. And I could see him going out into the ocean, setting dolphins on fire because he might think that they're sharks and he hates sharks for some reason. So that could happen. It would be great and wonderful if what I said there actually happened. Then I would just be the prophetic psychic and then I would start charging people. That's what I would do.
Oh my goodness, we should go back to like every Simpsons and Futurama episode ever. And I'm sure that there's some sort of crazy prediction that's going to come true sometime in the next 12 months.
Yeah. We're recording two today and I have questions. First thing is I'm confused, I'm befuddled, I'm baffled because you said that with all the costs of your appliances going out and the mold overtaking your house that you weren't going to go on vacation and that your vacation was going to be lying there looking at the stuff that you had repair. And now next week you're going on vacation. What happened?
Got a bonus.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So I can't use the line that I was preparing to use. I was going to go with, I feel like I just don't know you anymore.
No, got a bonus.
Yeah, so that took care of it. That's good.
Yeah, which is great, right?
Yeah.
Then purchased on discount like a non-refundable vacation. Then spent $4,500 at the vet this morning.
Not literally, because that would be a lot.
No, literally.
You can't spend $4,500 at the vet.
Yes, you fucking can.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking, okay, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit tired. I don't know if you have excuse to be tired, but I was thinking $400,000 when you said that. That's where my brain went.
Oh, yeah. No, not $400,000.
$4,000 you could easily do. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yes, easily.
Yeah, you've got cats that are eating trash and opening their sutures in bad times. The problem is that you got cats to begin with, so.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I was in a dark place.
I wanted to mention this too. I'm sorry it worked out this way, but it's going to be a little bit of a problem because next week I had Anna, that ASMR person, lined up. She was going to be on the show, but now we're not going to be here to record it. So I guess it just won't happen.
Is that true?
No, I'm fucking with you.
Wow.
That would be funny, though. If that would have been the case, I would have said, no, we have to figure out a way to do it next week. You have to do it from vacation or something. But
of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right? We would have had to figure that out.
No, I just made that up. But I will ask Terry Nunn about it, and we'll figure that out.
That's good. I can't wait to see if she remembers you.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll remember that situation, because it wasn't like the worst thing ever, but it was bad enough. I could have made an impression, but I don't want to build it up too much because then it'll be like this big grand thing, and it wasn't that big a deal. I was just a 13-year-old asshole is what it is. Amidst all your other stuff, all the stuff that you have going on with bleeding cats and kids and mold overtaking your house and appliances, I feel like you should make some time to learn audio editing, and I would like to offer my services. I can be the one to teach you, because like if you go through, I'll give you access to the site and you could download all the stuff and just go through all the treasures. And you know, some of the treasures I find about you could find stuff with me like this one.
Love me harder.
Remember that from a couple weeks back? Think of the stuff you could find with me. There's this one.
My dick, bitch.
You just go through, and little nuggets as you go through and edit shows, you can pull them out. And some people haven't even heard these.
I'm a sour old cunt.
That's a favorite. That didn't even come up on the show, I don't think.
I'm a sour old cunt.
This is an old-time favorite that it might be nearly a year since this one came up. I was going through old stuff in our files and found this.
Once you start to take the piss,
you can eat an entire bag of dicks.
So you can find all these little things. And I just wanted to offer to you that I can teach you how to go through and use Reaper, use whatever digital audio workstation you want to use, and you could find stuff with me, and then you could play them back with me saying asshole stuff, because think of my treasures.
Okay, so I've just had a vision.
Yeah.
And it's of you calling someone using that as a soundboard. Like you crank calling somebody,
Yeah,
and they're like,
could.
"Yellow, my dick, bitch. Excuse me? You heard me? Who is this? I'm a sour old cunt."
If I got the time, I could totally go through and just get little bits of
dying.
you.
Oh, I'm crying. It's so funny.
That'd be good. That's a challenge. I'll go through and I'll get little bits of you, and then I'll just take like yes, no, hi, hello, and then things like that and do a phone call. But there's the thing that you can't have fun in this country anymore. You can't record somebody without their knowledge and their consent. Radio used to be fun with that too, and you can't do it anymore. It's a bunch of bullshit.
We should.
Maybe I'll call another country. Oh, Australia. Can I call Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the law in Australia?
Yeah, we could call any number of things. We could call an AI tool. We could call somebody that we've got pre-approval from, right? We could get approval now, but wait 6 months to call them.
They still might remember, though.
I doubt it.
Just get time on our side. That'll work.
No, exactly. We want to call them and just have a conversation and talk to them about something. We want to record the survey for our radio show, and then don't call them until 6 months.
And just hope they forget. See if it works.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. We'll have to work it out. We'll have to see what happens.
And you could open it. You could get somebody else to preface it. You should get somebody with a really sweet voice. Yeah, hi, I'm calling on behalf of Stu and Emily from Total Babble. Yes, are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna put them through. Okay, great. And then
that's the tactic.
Yeah,
you get somebody like a producer, a fake producer,
correct,
and say, okay, I'm gonna put them on, and then we just go with that crazy shit. It could be fun. Could be good. Have to work out the phone system too, though, because the phone system is a challenge. Talking to somebody 3,000 miles away is easier than lining up a phone service on these computers. That's the way it goes. It's very strange.
Technology can't be trusted.
All right. So there's that. And the last episode that we just did like 4 hours ago, we stopped recording, and you told me that cheese is like heroin, and you were going to explain that to me. Now, I'd like to figure out what's going on there because I'm eating real butter now, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. I did that partially at your advice, and I'm eating cheese now, not the processed American crap, but I'm also eating eggs, and I feel like next time I go to the doctor, he's going to tell me that I'm going to have a heart attack tomorrow. Then you said, well, cheese is like heroin.
Well, yes. So it is.
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, it is. It is, but it isn't. There was a study, right? It was published in the US National Library of Medicine. Anyway, there was a food addiction scale that was created by Yale, and it was designed to measure someone's food addiction. And through that process, it was found that cheese is highly addictive because of the way that it's processed. And the fattier the food, the higher the addiction. But there's a scientific reason for it, right? Cheese is especially addictive. This is where it comes in. It's like crack, right? Because it's got an ingredient called casein. Okay, it's a protein that's found in all milk products. And during digestion, casein releases opiates called casomorphins. Casomorphins play with the dopamine receptors that trigger that addictive element. They are literally opiates. So there's a reason why we all love cookies and milk and cheese toasties and that kind of thing. It's like crack.
The queso whatever in the quesadilla. The queso whatever is in the quesadilla.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Exactly, that's how they get you. And I'm probably mispronouncing some of those words.
I've heard of the CASA thing before, and I've heard health people say, oh, it's a concern. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, the casomorphins?
The casein, I think is what I heard.
Yeah, casein. Yeah.
Well, I cut it out for a couple years. I'll see how I can get through that.
How can you be a veggie
I
and
don't
not
know.
eat cheese?
Because you can just not. You just say, I'm not going to eat cheese anymore, and it's much better for you. I just figure real butter, cheese, and eggs, I'm going to have like a cholesterol level of like they're going to need to put a balloon in me and get all the crap out of there. And I don't need that. I was so much better before. And I don't know. We'll see. What else is going on? You said there was a thing with your friend and you wanted an opinion. I don't know. You bleeding cats all over. What?
Sure. I mean, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So one of my mates owns a travel company and it's really popular. She does a great job. Her clients come back time after time after time. And she finally got her first ever 1-star review. And she knew that it was coming because these people are fucking idiots. She's got this couple who went on this trip. They wanted to go to a particular place in the world, and she made recommendations. They have decided they don't want to go with her recommendations. She's a travel consultant. People pay her to design their dream trips, but instead they give her a list of exactly where they want to go on which day and then just ask her to book it. Like, I don't know why you would spend all of that money just to treat her like a gopher, but okay. So they do this. Then the complaining starts. They sign all of the contracts, they do all of the briefings, they agree to everything. She tries to get them to change the itinerary for various reasons, including the fact that these people are old as fuck and they can't get around. And they want to do things like go to old castles and go to ice caves and do all this sort of stuff. And so my friend has tried to quietly coach them around it.
Because they're so old, doing those things would be hard on them, that kind of thing?
Yes,
okay.
And for many and various reasons, or they're trying to ram too many things into one day because they're old and it's a big place and, like all of this stuff. Anyway, they're not having a bar of it. Don't take any of her advice, yada, yada, yada. Get to the place. Then the fucking complaints start. And the complaints are top shelf amazing. And we go walking together and I'm seeing the text messages that are coming in and they're leaving like stream of consciousness voicemails and all sorts of stuff. Some of the top hits include, we drove to the beach today and the wind is blowing so hard. Is it safe for us to still continue our self-guided tour? There's a hurricane warning.
Shouldn't they be checking with local officials? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm stating the obvious.
No, exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, today's the only day that we can do this. There's not enough time in our itinerary to come back here, so we're really disappointed because the weather is just so bad. Yeah, okay, cool. Let me just fucking call God and get him to turn down the wind. Okay, and then ice caves. Ice caves are slippery. We didn't know that an ice cave would be slippery. We are unable to go in an ice cave if an ice cave is slippery. Why didn't you tell us that an ice cave would be slippery? I think you'll find I fucking did tell you that an ice cave was going to be slippery and not to go there, but you told me that you wanted to. Anyway, no point in arguing. So they decide to sit out from the ice cave. At least that's what they told her. But then, turns out they didn't sit out because the tour guide who's on site gave them the tour, so they're bullshitting back and forth. Another one, this is super amazing too, is there's no accessibility services in the medieval castles. Did you know that medieval castles don't have handrails, elevators, ramps? All sorts of things like that, and that is fucking unacceptable, Stu. We would have never decided to go to the medieval castle that we named specifically and sent you the link to and said that we wanted to go there on this day, even though you told us that you would skip it. Had we have known that medieval castles don't have these sorts of things. I'm reading this shit, and then they have lambasted her and made terrible character assassination and just said horrible things about her in this terrible review. She's never gotten anything less than a 5-star review, and it's just horrible, horrible, horrible. And I'm reading this review going, these people are the type of people who go to a restaurant and they're like, 1 star, I'll never eat here again, couldn't get a park.
Yeah, well, and the thing that I'm thinking as you're describing all this, they actually put this review up.
Yep.
And I can't imagine as a business owner how you handle that, because I, as a guy who will go in and bitch about people when I feel that's right, and I would never go that far, I imagine that she has to try to respond and do something, or how do you handle that?
Well, exactly. And the other thing too is she took their feedback. She refunded them already for the portions of the tour that they were dissatisfied with.
Because that's what I thought they were going for.
She apologized. They were doing all sorts of crazy shit before the trip. Like they added 2 extra people to the trip last minute and then were surprised that it cost more money.
Oh,
they
fuck
didn't
these people.
They didn't understand that they couldn't just add 2 extra people into the same hotel room and that it would cost extra money. It was insane. Nuts.
These, to me, sound like people that just like to bitch, and these are people to me that sound like they do this intentionally just to get a refund. Aside from being unreasonable, obviously. That's the way it strikes me.
And also, the review's gone up today. They traveled over 6 months ago. And so they've sort of come out of the woodwork randomly.
And she already refunded them part of the money. What are they expecting? They're just putting the review up to be assholes, essentially?
Exactly. They are doing it very specifically to hurt her. And that, it's not even helpful or useful. It's just like, I would never work with this person, accusing her of taking kickbacks on certain things and just fabricating.
Isn't that the nature of her job, though? Doesn't she literally take kickbacks? Like if she books somebody, doesn't she get a kickback from whatever resort or whatever? I'm just wanting to understand the thing.
I don't really know the ins and outs of it.
Right.
But just the way that they're phrasing things, saying, I would never, ever, ever work with this person again. I thought that I could trust her because we knew her personally and blah, 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 blah. Just crazy shit.
So what is she doing to deal with it? Is she going to post a response or?
She just thanked them for their feedback.
See, I would post a response, and maybe that's me because I am the way I am. But I would make the point of, hey, I tried to dissuade you from going on all these things, and I can't control the weather, and this is unreasonable, and I tried in good faith to try to work with you, and though it seems like you were going through all this just looking for a refund, I did refund part of your money, and I don't know what else you would like me to do. That's what I would do. And I think there's a way to do that without coming off as defensive or shitty, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then I was also suggesting that she should have downloaded all of the photos, because the other thing too is that while they're complaining, they're posting all of these photos at all of the things that they're telling her that they fucking hate and that they're not doing. All of these happy family photos of them and all of these posts on Facebook talking about how they're having the best holiday of their lives, and they're posting it on social media, all while meanwhile sending her just horrible messages and saying, we're going to sue you and all sorts of crazy shit. And they were just really, really mean to her. And then they continue to be mean.
And maybe
her.
It's not in her nature. It sounds like it's not from what you're saying, but I would post all the stuff that I mentioned and say, and honestly, I worked really hard for you guys. I'm sorry this didn't work out, and make that point. That's just shitty.
Yeah, it's just shitty because she did hold her ground, and they've in the review gone, and when we raised it, she had the audacity to blame us for the things.
Because you're to blame.
because you're to blame.
Yeah.
No, well, there's no one to blame.
Well, they are to blame because she tried to tell them, don't do this, and they did it.
Yeah, decisions were made.
They made poor decisions. It's their fault.
Instructions were given.
The worst phrase that was ever brought to light, maybe, is the customer is always right, because the customer is not always right. Oftentimes, the customer is an asshole. And that goes back to the days when I worked at Tower Records, and things were different back then, and we didn't have to deal with asshole right customers in thinking that they were right when they were wrong, because the head of the store would tell them to get the fuck out of his store and he wasn't going to deal with them anymore. And yeah, it was a little bit of that snob thing of, oh, we're music people and we're better than you and we know more than you. There was a little bit of that attitude, but also we really tried to help people and be good to people. And when someone was unreasonable back in the day, you could tell them to go fuck themselves. And those were good times.
Yeah, those were good times. It's just...
And they'd call the corporate office. I'm going to call the corporate office. And you go, okay, fine. Here's the card. Fuck you. Get out of my store. And the corporate office would back him because they knew we were doing good things and that we were experts at our job and trying to help people. So, yeah, things have changed.
And, I don't think there's such thing as people speaking their truth either.
The truth is the truth.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck what your truth is. Right. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Sorry that happened.
Yeah, me too. That person should be the person that we call with my soundboard.
Oh, even better. Heard you went on a trip. Suck my dick. Could go with that. I've been watching a little bit of TV. Thought I'd bring it up and see if you had any experience with these. And also I have a little bit of a conflict on this one. First off is I watched Anora. Have you seen Anora yet?
I haven't yet, but my mother-in-law watched it and she said that although she's not a prude, she found the sex quite egregious.
Yeah, there's a lot of nakedity and there's a lot going on.
And she was like, I found it very uncomfortable.
Right.
And she was not into it. She's like, I found it very uncomfortable.
Like if you're with your parents and even if your parents swear and curse and you're very open, you still wouldn't want to watch this with them. It's he's got her doggy and this and that, and there's no actual parts shown except the dude stands up one time and there's full dong there. But it's like, yeah, wow, there's a lot of sex stuff going on. And the nakedity is good. She's a very in shape girl. I enjoy that. But it almost felt like, even as a dude, wow, there's so much nakedity going on here. Well, because she plays a stripper and an escort and kind of a prostitute. And she was good, talking about Mikey Madison. And
Didn't she win an Oscar?
She won an Oscar, and the movie won an Oscar. And I can see maybe the Oscar for her. I say that having not really seen any of the other movies because I don't care about movies anymore, especially the ones that the Academy nominates. And I could see, okay, maybe she was good enough to win that. She was better in a show called Better Things with Pamela Adlon, who is awesome, that I always recommend that show to people. It's fantastic. It's about a woman that's an actress and is kind of struggling with the business, and she has 3 daughters and raising them, and it's a great show. It's like, it was co-produced by Louis C.K., and it's like if Pamela Adlon was a female Louis C.K. They worked on it together. It's a great show. But Mikey Madison was in that, and I guess she wasn't even an actress before. She was very believable in this, but I got through it, and I was like, movie of the year for this? No, I just don't see it. It's worth watching, but What was the last movie you saw? Do you remember?
Conclave.
See, I don't even know what that is. Oh, that kind of remember that. What?
Conclave. It's the one where they choose a new pope.
Oh, wow. That's fast-paced action, right?
It was very interesting.
Keanu Reeves is in that. He's jumping from car to car.
Yeah, it's like John Wick, but more action, more violence, more passion, more energy.
Keanu Reeves is the Pope. That would be great. Dominus Omus and stuff.
It might have been that. I think it was Conclave. No, got it. It was Sicario 2. It's an old movie.
And that's about that guy named Jeff Sicario, right?
Sicario is, I guess it's Spanish for hitman.
Oh.
And it was Taylor Sheridan's first ever movie. It's from 2015. It actually stars Emily Blunt, who I'm a fan of, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. It has some very interesting twists. Yeah, anyway, I highly recommend that film. I really, really like. It's got I don't even know how to say his name. Is it
Idris Elba.
No, Del
I just
Toro.
learned how to say that. Oh, Benicio?
Benicio, is it? Yeah,
Benicio,
Benicio del Toro in it. Really, really great movie. I really like it. And then so I watched Sicario 2 because I found out that there was a Sicario 2. And that is the last movie that I watched.
I don't know what happened to me. I used to be so into the movies and going all the time, and now I just don't care. And is it just that I'm getting older and I don't relate to any of it anymore? I for sure am never going to the movies, but even looking for something to watch, an actual movie, I just don't care.
Yeah, and I don't watch, or not that I don't, but I have not watched anything recent times. The last movie that my kids watched was Sharknado because they had a whole bunch of friends come over and just for giggles, they watched Sharknado because of how ridiculous it is.
I would love it if they had like a science fair at school and they took Sharknado as fact and started giving all these facts about, well, and then the sharks will swirl in the tornado and then they can attack and they can breathe up to 40 feet in the air. And that would be fun. That's what you should do. Teach your kids wrong.
I should. Well, I'm going to brag about my eldest son for a minute here. He and his team won their science fair with an experiment on evaporation, which I cannot explain to you. All I know is that they won the science fair, and I was very proud.
Good for them. You got a smart kid there. And I know the one you talk about, and the other one's younger and getting smarter. And I think you're going to be okay, perhaps, getting through the teenage years. There's going to be some rough spots, but it seems like they like you still. So I think you'll be okay.
I think we'll be okay. The second one, you will enjoy this. He also made honor roll this semester, so he is also a smarty pants. But the part that I think that you will be proud of and enjoy is that he has made a name for himself at school for his Donald Trump impression. And he gets asked to do off-the-cuff impressions around any topic, and people will give him a topic, and then he will do an impression.
That's great.
About it, and it's pretty good. It's kind of impressive.
Well, and that's teaching him improv skills, and maybe he's going to grow up to do something with that. That would be great.
I think so. He is pretty funny. He comes in and he does little stand-up bits all the time. He has just cute little jokes. He does, in the same way that Jimmy Carr just tells sort of joke after joke after joke after joke. He'll come in and do, like 30 seconds of jokes, like 3 jokes in a row or whatever. The other night, we have television in our room and we have 2 chairs and we'll sit there and watch our shows. So they'll swing by us on their way to the shower and he'll always stop in and do a bit of stand-up on the way. Right?
I was just going to make that joke and didn't realize it was true.
No, it's true. It does. And so he'll stop in and do a bit almost every night, And so the other night he came in and he's like, well, if messing up my B's and V's makes me Russian, then Soviet.
And that's his own that he came up with? Or?
I have no idea. But this this is my life. It's all day, every day. It's just, he has the best stuff. And it happens all the time. I can't remember the jokes. He has so many of them and they're so good. He had another one the other day that was just, and I was cackling for hours. I should have written it down. But anyway, every single day he's out with something new. It's a real pleasure.
Wow, that's cool. And it's cool that you have that relationship with your kids, because as much as you've got going on and all the things that you have to deal with that you've been dealing with, that I know at least there's that at the end of the day to look forward to, and you know what you're doing it for.
Yeah, exactly. And they had I don't know what your field trips were like when you were a kid, but But today, one of them had a field trip to the museum and they got them to reenact the Boston Tea Party off the back of a faux Dartmouth boat. And they were throwing bags of tea over whilst rehearsing lines.
Just for historical learning and that
For
kind of thing?
historical learning purposes. They also acted out the signing of the Declaration of Independence. They all got dressed up. You know, all of the kids, they got to act, they got to dress up, and they all took turns at acting out important moments in history and acting as important historical characters. But they had these sets at this museum that they went to, and they got to act them out. And he was regaling how these kids were up on top of this boat, like throwing shit.
It's kind of like what we're doing with Teslas now. You can make that correlation.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Tesla Tea Party.
The Tesla Tea Party. So I should probably, it's good practice for what we're doing on the weekend, throwing those Molotov cocktails. Get that throwing arm strong.
Yeah. It's funny how people can invade the Capitol and break windows and threaten to assault people and kill cops, and they're out of jail. But somebody that sets a Tesla on fire is gonna go to jail for 20 years. That seems fair to me, I think.
Yeah,
right?
seems outrageous.
These motherfuckers.
That they're not a patriot.
Yeah. So you were talking about history there, and it's interesting that you brought that up, because one of the other things that I watched that I kind of wouldn't have thought I had an interest in was Hamilton. Have you seen Hamilton, done anything with Hamilton?
I haven't.
Okay.
But everyone else has. The musical Hamilton?
Yeah,
You like
I guess it's the play that Lin-Manuel. They recorded them. It's on the Disney Channel, which I'm getting for like $3 a month or something. And I'm like, I don't really like musicals. West Side Story is the only one that I like, but everybody said how great it was, and it is really good. I would tell you that the music is modern and great, but you need some subtitles going on there, and you need to focus and watch along, because otherwise you're not going to follow the story. And if you're in your phone, you're going to lose it. It's kind of a good exercise to do that from time to time, I think. I'm bugged by one thing, though, and that is the casting. And it's weird to me because they had a black actor playing Thomas Jefferson, and they even make reference to in the production that Thomas Jefferson owned slaves, and they reference it and they go over this, and there's a black actor standing there playing Thomas Jefferson. It's kind of like having a 400-pound guy play Gandhi or something. It just felt like a big leap to make. What do you think about that?
I mean, how do you think that the slaves felt about having a black master? It must have been weird for them.
I did not see you going with that joke at all. Yeah, that must have been horrible for them.
Fuck, that must have been so weird. Couldn't even believe it.
No, it was just like, I'm happy that there's an equal opportunity and that they gave that guy the job, and probably, or maybe he was the best one for the job. Maybe he's the best one that auditioned for it. But it almost felt like, well, we're taking ownership of this, and things are so realized nowadays that we're going to give a black actor this part. And it felt distracting to me and weird to me. And like, his wife was Hispanic and her sister was a black woman. And I don't know, I was distracted by that. And I'm wondering if I should have been, and if I should let that bother me. And maybe it shouldn't bother me. It was just, it felt like if we're doing history, let's have some history. Is that weird?
No, I don't. I don't think it's weird. I feel like I can join you here, because for me, I can see how that is, for example, it would be peculiar visually if we were trying to depict the first Thanksgiving and it was very obvious that there were people of ethnicities that were not present. So one entire half were Fijian Indian.
Right.
And the other half of the table was from Japan.
The settlers were giant Samoans or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it would be peculiar. It wouldn't make sense. I would I would care less about it in the instance of like mythical characters like Ariel. Like, I don't know why people give a shit about The Little Mermaid, because The Little Mermaid is bullshit and doesn't make sense. Nobody cares about that. But Thomas Jefferson is a person. Martin Luther King is a person. Like, if Keanu Reeves can't play Martin Luther King, then, you know,
How much of a leap are we
whatever.
making?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, I felt good that they put that guy in the role idealistically, but then I thought, wow, it's weird to me. And
It is a little bit
and it
weird.
felt like a little bit of a preach, like, okay, look how forward we are in our thinking. Okay, well, it's still weird in my head.
But it does make you think about it. And maybe it was deliberate to sort of stick in people's minds. You know how like a good joke has misdirection?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes a good, thoughtful piece, maybe it was intentional for that reason, to sort of stick in your mind.
And I don't remember them addressing it at the time when they put the production together. So I'm wondering if they ever did. And I wonder if anybody has ever said that before. Somebody must have, right?
Oh, I'm sure it was
Yeah.
in some of the first reviews. I'm sure it was done for shock value or something to, drive something at the beginning. Or without a doubt, he was no doubt cast because he was the best person for the job. And then they decided to overlook that plot snafu.
That's what I would think. He acted well and sang great, and they all acted well and sang great. Like, the singing is so good that I, as a guy that don't like musicals, went, wow, I could almost buy this soundtrack or something. It's really good. And that would help with the learning of it because there's a lot to follow. And he wasn't the best guy. He cheated on his wife and had a lot of shitty stuff going on. But he's redeeming nonetheless. And I thought it was really good. And even if you don't like musicals, it's probably worth watching. So, yeah.
Would you have felt better if he had of Wayans brothered white girls did?
What do you mean? Oh,
As in gone full white face.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that would be more weird. That would be
Totally.
too weird. That's like
Really?
blackface weird. It's the same thing.
it's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? It would just be, it's so weird and so weird. It'd be so weird. I've remembered another joke.
Go with it.
My neighbor came and knocked on my door of my apartment at like 3 a.m. Luckily, I was still up playing my guitar. And the guy goes, like, how about a little respect? And I said, well, I'm not really an Aretha Franklin fan, but sure, here's one for you. This
Trying to
one's for
see that
you.
coming. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
Yeah. Luckily, I was still up playing my guitar.
So you're getting ready to go on vacation. I will tell you this. This is information that came out weeks ago, and we've just never gotten to it because we're talky.
Mm-hmm.
According to a poll, nearly half of all Americans carry spare underwear for emergencies. I guess as you go on a trip, you're going to be packing for that trip. As you go through life, do you carry spare underwear? Do your kids carry spare underwear? Does your husband carry spare underwear?
Depends on the context, but I can tell you that this morning when I really wanted spare underwear, I did not have spare underwear.
It happened 4 hours ago and I forgot.
I nearly pooped my pants. Yeah, didn't have it. However, when I go and play sports, I always have spare underwear and a spare change of, like a tennis skirt or something. I always take a spare change of clothes when I'm going to compete.
Just in case something happened, just in case you spilled something, what's behind that thinking? Because 39% say they do it because they are likely to have an accident.
Yeah, it's because I've had 2 children and there's a high probability that I will literally piss myself.
Yeah, well, that's not that fun.
No,
No.
It's not fun at all.
Yeah.
Also, but throughout my life, it's changed. So when you have little kids, like little kids, I would always take spare clothes because they will shit themselves, vomit, spill things on themselves, whatever. Great. So I would always take spare clothes for them. I remember when we stopped taking a spare change of clothes for them, and it was so incredibly liberating. I now often still have spare change of clothes for them because we go to swimming lessons, we go to tennis, we do all sorts of stuff. They're showering, they're doing stuff. So I often have a change of clothes for them in the car to help them transition to whatever activity they're doing. And so it's to help them get through whatever they're doing.
Your answer is you don't carry spare underwear, but you wished you would have, and now you're going to start? Or?
My answer is I do, but not as often as I should. And that's about to change because I don't carry a purse. That is something you need to know about me. Well, you don't need to know about it, but now you do. There you go. Merry Christmas. I am like chick dude. I have a wallet and a phone and a set of keys. And so I put those things in my pockets and then I go. That's not really conducive to carrying around an extra set of undies.
Right.
Imagine, if you will, reaching into your pocket, pulling out a wallet or a phone and having a pair of knickers like fly out across the room. Weird.
And that's why I thought that study was weird because it said 70%. And I was like, or no, it was nearly half. Let me go back to it here.
Where do you, if you're a guy, where do you keep it? It must be like in your car.
Yeah. Nearly half of all Americans carry spare underwear for emergencies. 70% carry spares, have had their underwear come to the rescue. So of those that have it, 70% have used it. That's what that is. I feel like I just don't know. Half of my friends is carrying spare underwear. I can't picture any of them doing that. And I was like, well, that's 1 out of 2. And like, if you were a no, then I was going to start calling liquor stores and just randomly asking people, do you carry spare underwear? Because I think that's high.
I do. My husband and I share a tennis bag.
I thought you were going to say that you share underwear.
No.
Because that would be fun.
Yeah. He and I are considerably different in size. I don't think my undies would fit him.
So he's 400 pounds, you're saying?
No. He's much, much taller than I am.
Okay.
I think it might really ride up on him.
Have you tried, just for fun?
No.
Okay.
It's really hard to get him to keep still. Every time I try, he just wriggles free. There's a power differential there. He's much bigger than me. But I keep my spare knickers in the front of the tennis bag. And so every time I use the tennis bag, I have to take the undies and put them back in the front. And every time he uses the tennis bag, he takes them out and puts them out. And so, one day I think he's going to get caught with my spare tennis undies in the bag while he's out there. He's going to have, my undies in his bag.
Oh, sorry. Those fell out.
Sorry.
I don't know whose they are,
The odd thing is that everyone will know whose they are because we play on the same tennis team. We play mixed doubles on the same tennis team.
There you go. It's good that you used knickers there, too. I enjoy knickers.
Oh, you guys don't use knickers, do you?
Like pants are not knickers.
Pants are knickers.
Okay.
Underpants, underwear.
Under knickers.
Yeah, knickers are
Sub-knickers.
Like pants, not bras. Not a brassiere.
Word knickers is really stuck in my head right now.
Not the over-shoulder boulder holder.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Titsling.
Tits.
There was a rumor going around when I was growing up that the inventor of the bra was Edward J. Titsling or something, and I believed it as a kid. I said, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That must be right. Makes total sense to me.
Just because it was Edward J. Crapper who invented the toilet or whatever.
Isn't there something to hang on. Hey, Siri, who invented the bra? Is she coming up with anything?
Here's the contact info for Deborah.
No. That's very wrong. Bit killer Debbie invented the bra? What? Okay, I don't know how that happened. Way to go, Siri. Dummy. I'm going to have to check with her on that now. All right. So here's the thing. Another thing that's been sitting around forever that we could play.
It was Mary Phelps Jacob in 1914.
No, that's not fun. All right. But there was something, maybe there was a crapper, a Thomas Crapper. There are things like that where it's the toilet was invented by Crapper.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas Crapper, he was responsible for the widespread adoption and manufacturing of flushing toilets in the 19th century.
And then somewhere along the line, one of my friends did the tit sling thing and just made it fact, and here we are. Mr. Professor 318 on Instagram. We've played a few of his things from time to time. This is, I'm not going to tell you the band, but remember we did What If Blank Was Yacht Rock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's this, but it's not really yacht rock. It's kind of funk. So it's What If Blank Was Funk, and
Okay.
you'll see how this goes. I love this.
Oh, welcome to the jungle.
Fun and games. We got everything you want, honey. We know the name. We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease. It's a jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring it to your knees. Oh, I wanna see you bleed.
So happy when he says that.
To the jungle, we take it day by day. If you want, you're gonna bleed, but it's the price to pay. And you're a very sexy girl, and very hard to please. You can taste the bright lights, but you won't get there for free. In the jungle, welcome to the jungle. Feel my serpentine. I wanna hear you scream. And when you're high, you never.
And it fades out from there, and that's good stuff. And one of those things that I've had sitting here. So there we go.
I like it. And who doesn't love a little bit of funky gunners?
Funk is good. All funk, nearly all funk is good. Traditional 70s, 80s funk, I'm there for it, God damn it. If you ever want to spend a great afternoon, you go and you find Zapp and Rogers' greatest hits, and you put that on repeat and just let it play all day long. That's greatness right there. I saw those guys a bunch of times back in the day, and that's a great funk band. And Roger was a great guy too. So there.
I haven't
More
seen
bounce to the ounce. Do you know that song? I'm such a white boy
No,
singing that. Okay,
I
wow.
don't.
Look up More Bounce to the Ounce. Zapp and Rogers' greatest hits.
Ah, man, there's a song that's in my head now, but it's not the actual song.
Atomic Dog.
No, it is the
Alright.
film clip for the song. Ra ra Rasputin. Da, 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 da. Oh,
Debbie is-
it's by Bernie M.
Oh, the Boney M thing that we did.
Rasputin. Yeah.
That's okay. That's the song that you came up with. We did a show back when we were playing music because copyright wasn't as big of a thing. And I had never heard of it. And I remember playing that now.
Yeah. The guy in it is just absolutely bonkers the way that he performs. I've never seen anything like it. He's just off the wall, causing a scene.
So everybody get out there, enjoy some new music you haven't heard before. We'll end it there. That's a good thing to do. Just look up music. You have all the music in the world. Go find some new stuff. That's a good way to go. And boy, all that weird shit Trump is going to do tomorrow. You'll hear about that.
Yeah. Whatever happened to bands that have dancers? That's what I want to know. Do you remember when bands had dancers and that was like a role in a band and it wasn't unusual for bands to have dancers?
I remember like all the old Motown-y stuff that was before my time and seeing videos of that, like the Temptations and the Tops and that kind of thing. And okay, she's showing me the video of, okay, yeah, they're going for it. That's fun.
Yeah, and see the guy, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but there are so many bands that had dancers.
There was
And
Walk Like an Egyptian. That doesn't really count. Do the Dinosaur. That was an 80s, 90s
oh, boom, boom, aka boom, 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 aka boom, boom. Ah, yeah, I love that. Like, okay, so bands that had dancer as an official band member, though, fucking classic. Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
thing. Yeah, I remember them.
Okay, there we go. Happy Mondays. Some people have cracked and said Frankie Goes to Hollywood just because they didn't understand what the fuck Paul Rutherford did.
The Time. Does it have the motherfucking time in there?
The motherfucking time, I don't know. Oh, The Prodigy.
I remember Prodigy. 90s.
Fit
A
in.
lot of those.
Um,
Horse.
The Band Horse.
No, I was just saying you were doing a horse.
Prince and the New Power Generation. So when he was married to
Maite.
Maite,
Yeah.
she was a dancer.
That's true. That's accurate and true.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, bring back the dancers. That's all I'd like to say about it. I think that, I mean, I don't know who we can send a letter to. Who is in control of bands today?
Just the bands. They make their own music in their house.
We've lost
And
control.
There's really no record companies.
This is
And
fucking
the
shit.
few that are around are still just looking to make money on the concerts, which if there were dancers there, that would help. So
This would help. I mean, who's having the freak offs if Diddy's
somebody's got to get the freak offs
Fucking
back
if-
on track,
if
sons
Diddy
of bitches.
has lost control? Who's having the freak offs
That's-
and who's putting the dancers together?
Back when I was a boy, we'd have the freak offs, and now you just can't do it anymore.
How crazy is that? What the fuck's a freak off? I
So
mean,
gross and
come on.
weird.
It's so gross.
It just speaks to everything that was big during that period and the excess and all of it. And now we're so reserved, and it would be good to find a middle ground, I think.
It would be good to find a middle ground. But for as long as the world exists, where Kanye West goes by Ye, continues to be famous, makes money, and has fans, I am not convinced that the kids are all right.
How about just nobody pay any attention to that guy? That's a much better way to go, I think. All these people that suck, just don't pay them any attention. I know it's hard. I know you go on Instagram and there's all the hot girls and you open up your reels and it's either hot girls or egg dishes. Just watch the egg dishes.
Watch the egg dishes.
Yeah.
What do you think is wrong with him to the point
I think
that-
he's really mentally fucked up and has legitimate issues, but I also think he makes his own choices and we don't have to cater to that, and that's not an excuse.
Yeah, I think it's not an excuse as well. I saw a clip the other day, not on purpose. You know, in the same way that sometimes you're just scrolling through the internet and you're on somebody else's internet or you're on public Wi-Fi and then pornography is promoted to you and you're like, I don't, fuck. I came across a Kanye West interview and I had like the same sort of visceral reaction.
Yeah.
He was dressed head to toe in a Black Klan outfit. Just those horrible things that you've seen in historic things that
The KKK robe kind of thing.
Yeah, right. That white supremacists,
Yeah.
they've seen it in historical things. He was wearing that, but in the color black, having an interview.
Well, in his mind, the fact that it was black made it okay, and he was making his own statement, I'm sure. But he's a goddamn crazy person that also makes horrible, terrible decisions and probably has made the decision to stay off his medication from what we can tell. So that's on him. I'm tired of people saying, oh, that person's really screwed up and we should have empathy for them and give them hugs and not hold them responsible for anything they do. Because in that situation, you can choose to be an asshole, and people often do.
I feel like the more money you have, the crazier you can be. Imagine if we were all out there just getting our Gary Busey on and threatening to pull out people's fucking endocrine system and we didn't have Gary Busey money. Just imagine that I just woke up tomorrow morning and was just out there going, yeah, and I'm going to fucking stick my hand up you and work you like a puppet. I'm going to get institutionalized. Lickety split. If I started behaving like Kanye West, I would get put in a hospital so fast it would make my head spin. But all of a sudden, just because he's got a lot of money and a record deal, he's a fucking genius. Yeah. I'm just a Fruit Loop.
Well, it's everybody has impulses, but when you are that crazy and have that much money, you feel like you don't have to control your impulses. And also that's the case when you're not on your medication. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Although maybe we can make money. I have decided, especially today, I've reached the end of just everything. I've run out of money. And after this latest trip to the vet, I'm finally doing it. I'm going to send everybody out a link to my OnlyFans. It is just going to be me with fans from all different eras. And I'm going to be singing into them, whatever you want. classic rock, yacht rock, yodeling, anything you want. Hand fans, those metal fans, ceiling fans, anything you need.
Because OnlyFans, and I bet it will be great. I bet you'll get people that are into it. The only thing you might want to consider throwing in, it's not that big a deal. Just show your feet a little bit. And then you're guaranteed at least a couple thousand a day. Show your feet while you're singing into the fan, and you'll have that little bonus audience there.
That's a good idea. I think that what I'll get is off Temu, I'll get tiny, 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 tiny baby fans, like dollhouse fans, and I'll go to my nail tech and I'll get tiny little tiny fans stuck on each of my nails, on my fingernails and my toenails.
Well, now you've taken it a step.
Flippy, floppy, floppy, my OnlyFans fingers and toes. And this is how we are going to go on holiday again. One time.
We are both giddy and stupid and tired, and we should end this.
We should end this. This is ridiculous.
I'm the one that's more off. You've been up nearly 24 hours, and you're keeping it together, so admiration to you for that. Way to go.
Well, thank you, friend. May the Schwartz be with you. Have a great rest of your day. Yep.
Ended strong. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.